Hello traders, I was inspired by my last video on ChatGPT, the indicator that I created using open interest. And what I ended up doing was getting an indicator that I used to use all the time, Bitfinex longs and shorts. And what I did is, as you can see right here, I coded something that makes like near perfect trades. Um, yeah, look at this. But let's get into really what this system is and why is it so profitable. So what basically this this is something that looks at data from here. I'm going to minimize this right here. So what this is, guys, is this is Bitfinex margin long and margin short data. So what you're looking at is with this right here where my cursor is, whenever this goes up by any amount, that's the amount of Bitcoin that is being entered on Bitfinex, okay? And this is a margin position, meaning that someone is borrowing USD in order to buy Bitcoin. And then you can see people closing their positions in white. When this goes down, that means that they are selling their positions. If you look at the one in red, this is whenever people are borrowing Bitcoin to short. So this is red up like that. Means that someone entered a very large short. White down, as you can see right there, means that shorts have exited. Now you might be wondering to yourself, well, Bennett, you've shown a lot of sentiment before. What's so special, man? Why do we care? These will not be equal, and that's why it is very, 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 very helpful data. Longs and shorts are not going to be equal in the margin long and margin short area. Basically what this means, guys, whenever someone margin shorts Bitcoin, they are not exactly sharing a contract with someone who is long. That's not the way that this works. What happens is they're borrowing Bitcoin from someone who's lending it. So what that means is that as many people theoretically could go long and as many people could go short. So what that means is that this sentiment data isn't just based on like accounts, it's actually based on how many people are entering individual positions. So if you look here, what I ended up coding was this, as you can see right here. Basically what this does is whenever longs increase by more than 100, this was coded to short. Whenever longs decrease by more than 100, this was coded to long. Whenever shorts increase by 100, this was coded to long, as you can see right there. And whenever shorts decrease by 100 or more, this is coded to go short. So basically what I did was I took the Bitfinex data and I said, I want you to counter trade every large trade that is made on Bitfinex, every single, not just large trade, but large position that's created. So that's what I ended up doing here. And as you can see, what I ended up finding is that people were, of course, not surprisingly, buying at the worst price spots possible and shorting at the worst price spots possible. And remember, this is something that counter trades those people. So as you can see right here, this large green means that someone opened a 160 Bitcoin long right there. They borrowed enough cash to buy 160 worth of Bitcoin on margin. And then you can see here that there was a large closing of a Bitcoin position. It could have been this guy buying and then closing his long down here for a loss. And as you can see, these trades would just be, quite good. So what I also found, let me go back here just to show you guys some more trades. What I also found is that the 5-minute time frame typically worked best. You could look at the 1 minute, but of course you're not going to get as many signals as the one before. But if you look right here on the 1 minute, you can kind of just see exactly what had happened. It's delayed by 1 minute. That's why it looks a little bit off. But you can see exactly when a large Bitfinex long had opened a position of 156.5 Bitcoin. Right here, perfect time to short, to counter trade that guy. And look what happened to him. He got obliterated, as you can see. Going back even further, I think there was a long signal, I remember. Yeah, right at the market bottom. It's quite nice. There's a long signal right here because a large Bitfinex long of 125.7 Bitcoin closed their long position. Would have been a great time to buy. So I found that this was a really, really nice way to look at the market. Not only can you do this with Bitfinex, you can also look at other coins as well if you want to counter trade large traders. So all of these coins right here offer, I mean, not all of them, sorry. A lot of them offer margin, meaning that you can borrow the coin itself in order to go short, or you can borrow USD in order to go long any of these spot pairs. Now remember, futures and margin trading are completely different. Margin trading gives a more honest depiction of how many people want to go long or short because it's between a lender and a borrower and not between longs and shorts, if that makes sense. So if we go to something like, what can we look at? I don't know a lot about this guy. I don't even know if it has margin data. No, it doesn't. Yeah, not every coin has margin data. But if I go to something like, let's say SNX, does SNX have any? No. How about SHIB? Let's keep it simple. SHIB USD on Bitfinex. So if we go to 5 minute here, let's ignore this because this is coded just for Bitcoin. If we look right here, you can see again just traders making bad trading decisions and really good ways that you could counter trade. Like for example, right here, I mean, this isn't phenomenal, but shorting here would have been nice on that large long entering. Shorting here would have been okay. I mean, these both would have been good. Someone had actually opened a short right here and then closed their short right at the local market top. I mean, had you counter traded this would have been near perfect. You would have bought around here and then just immediately exited in a nice profit, taking advantage of this guy right here for a profit of around 2%. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can counter trade this, but I would recommend adjusting the settings if you want to trade something like SHIB or Solana or something like that, because the values are quite different, as you can see. So you can see here, someone longed SHIB. You can see that volume spike right here, and right when they longed SHIB, it dumped. As you can see, right against them, which is something that typically happens to retail traders on Bitfinex. Some really good examples here that you can see. Look at how many longs. This is the best example so far I've seen in the video. Look how many longs died right here. It's kind of sad, but do you see how many longs had to close their positions? And then do you see how many shorts had entered? This is just a great sign to long right here. And had you done that, you would have gotten the bottom, the local market bottom, not the absolute, but you know, you could have taken profit higher if you know, you felt like it. You could have longed here, then maybe sold when a large long had entered right there for a tiny, tiny profit. So yeah, as you can see, this is something that can work across many different pairs on Bitfinex. If I wanted to code this differently, all I would have to do is go here, and I would just change this to a much higher value, maybe like 100 million or something for SHIB. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because I haven't shown Bitfinex margin changes data in a very long time. And I thought that this would be very, very good to look at because so many of these trades are just perfectly bad. Like, look at this right here. This trader right here closed a large long, right, on the top column, then opened a large short on the candle 1 minute prior. Remember, this data is lagging by 1 minute, meaning that it happened right about here. So on this candle, a large short had entered and a large long had exited right here. And that would have been a good short-term time to have bought, as you can see, as price went higher. And on the 1 minute, if you want to get very granular, you can see it right here. You can see that not many shorts were doing much, but a lot of longs were closing. This is just representative of retail traders, honestly. Look at how many longs are closing their positions at market lows, and then look how many longs began opening their positions at market highs. Like, do you see this right here? All of these are people closing their longs as price is going up, and then they begin opening long positions right as price is just flatlined, not really doing much. And it just didn't end too well for them. You can see all these people got hunted out with more longs being killed right there. So this is just a super, super helpful, good indicator, as you can see right here, for just short-term signals. I would probably use this on the 5 minute with a different setting. But yeah. This is just something I want to share with you guys because I personally haven't talked about Bitfinex margin data in a very, very long time. And I really think if you want to level up as a trader, definitely use this data where you're looking at margin sentiment and not just future sentiment. Because future sentiment is always going to be 50%, 50%. It's always going to be half longs, half shorts, no matter what. That's how open interest works. But on margin, it's not that way. It depends on how many people are lending and how many people are borrowing, which shows a whole different world of sentiment. Additionally, if you want the biggest alpha drop, all of the alpha in the world, you can join my premium Discord in the description below. Right now, we're offering it at a very, very cheap price of only $15 a month. where I talk about stuff like this, and I also have stuff like arbitrage, strategies like bid catching, different kinds of alpha. So I highly recommend that you go check out my Discord because I think that it probably won't be too hard for you to make up the $15 a month if you join. With that, happy trading. I'm going to post this code and all of this in that Discord if you want to go check it out. With that, happy trading, and I'll see you guys in the next one.